Hello, peoples of the internet. So today I have Evie in the room, going in and out of the room. She just went outside. You can hear her dog door. You can maybe see her out there. She's braving the smoke. If you can see through the back, that very, very smoky. Usually you can see the mountains in the background and you can't see the mountains at all. You maybe can see this really yellow sheen coming in the window. And we are also welcoming the plants and the animals and the sand all around us, including my crystals in the room. And yeah, so I'm in Kelowna, and well, I'm in Lake Country, but Kelowna is covered in smoke. So right across the lake in Carr's Landing, there is 2 large fires, and the fires are creating a whole lot of smoke. And so I'm so happy that I went outside as much as I did until now, because it's almost impossible to get outside. And I see that our temperature is supposed to be, I think it's 33 degrees today, 36 degrees tomorrow, 37 or 38 degrees the day after, which I'm thinking is not good for the fires. And it's sort of our second summer, I guess. I mean, I think typically we get those hot temperatures in July. So it's a little abnormal, I'd say, to have those hot temperatures in August, but August is still our summer. So if people are getting out in the smoke, wow, I don't know how you do it. I collapse my fear programs towards the smoke, and there was something that the God Source told me a long time ago, that there's oxygen in the air, and that you can specifically ask for the clear oxygen to come to your body. So if you're asthmatic, or have allergies to the smoke, which are inflammations, which are fear programs, number one, you're going to want to be trying to collapse those fear programs from the sinuses and the inflammation programs. But then number two, do whatever you need to feel okay at this time period, because the bodies aren't quite at the time yet where we can just miraculously heal, even though I will say some people can and do miraculously heal. So for me, I hold that as a potentiality, because I want it to happen for me and for my children and for my loved ones. So if you don't hold the potentiality, you can't open a timeline. So of course I'm going to try to open those timelines, but I'm also a realist, and I know that the frequencies around us are still pretty slavery matrix oriented. And so if you need to use the nose puffers, or the roll-ons like I did with the headaches that were coming in a while ago, aromatherapies or oils, extracts, even antihistamines, whatever you have to use it. So prayers to the fires, prayers to the forest, prayers to the animals, prayers to the people, prayers that their internal alarm systems are working well, so that they're hearing their internal alarm, which I would call the stomach brain. And the stomach brain will tell you, it's time to go. You got to go. Get out of here. And you don't stick around. If the stomach brain says go, it's time to go. And so really listening to that stomach brain and forgetting about stuff. Because a lot of people's houses have been burned down, cars, tools. I saw people saying their tools. Try to let the animals out, or let the animals go, or take the animals with you. That's the one thing I can say, because some people had to leave so quickly. They left their animals behind, and that's just so heartbreaking for me. I love the animals so much, and they're doing the best they can. I don't blame them, but when things like this arise, we're going to want to take our animals, or just let them go and give them the best chance. So I do want to speak a little bit about the fires, because that's something I was shown in the past about clearing our fears to the fires themselves, because fire is an element. It's a natural element. The God Source says when we clear our fears to it, we can speak directly to the fires. We can use our free will to speak to the fires and to say no, stop, no, you're being greedy. That's enough. You don't need to eat so much of the forest. You know what I mean? Like, stop. And that's what I've been doing with it. I've been envisioning. So instead of getting trapped in like fear, panic, terror, or even entertainment, because there's a lot of people being sort of subtly entertained by the fires, and the sort of, I guess I'll say, the like attention that a person can get because of it. We're going to want to alchemize the heck out of that as well, because all of that keeps you from being in your power and from accessing creativity. And so when you're in your power, the things you can do is collapse timelines. So collapsing all timelines except for where this fire is put out, right? For me, when I was looking at the fire, I was envisioning it going into itself and collapsing itself. So, you know, when a fire is, when there's no oxygen given to a fire will just go whoop and it'll collapse back into itself. That's what I was envisioning. That's Evie coming in through the door. So I was envisioning the fire, and I continue to envision the fire going back into itself and collapsing its own self. And that's things that we can do with our own free will. That and prayers and love and literal assistance to people who need help or assistance at this time period, either with their animals or with other types of things. So is there anything else I want to say about the fire? I think that's it. So right now, prayers to all of those that are being affected by the fire, the plants, the animals, the humans, and listening to their guts, their internal system that's going to communicate directly to them what they need when they need it most, and listening to the guts and getting the heck out of there. You know, if the gut says go, it's time to go. And then envisioning the fire collapsing in on itself, or it stopping itself, you know, it going back towards itself instead of stretching out. So also purifying. That's another thing we can do in this time period, and I've been doing a lot of that, just sort of connecting into the plants and nature and to the sand, and just asking them to purify the air back to its original state. And then also asking your internal self to just breathe in the actual oxygen, and that you don't have to fear smoke. Smoke is a natural part of this existence and this reality. It happens here, and staying in your own alignment with your own truth. So outside of that, I also wanted to talk about the information that's coming in this time period. So obviously, I'm working on the other information I shared last, half week ago or something in that realm, of loving ourselves in the spaces where we felt guilt or shame of not being able to help others. And that could be coming up in the fires for certain people too, that you can't stop the fire, you can help the people in the fire, you know, those kinds of things. And it's a space we need to love our own selves first, because those are one of those traumatic spaces of being alive and being a human being. And we need love there. And when we can access that love, then we can access our creativity and we can access the truth. And that's going to guide you in aligned ways instead of in misaligned or malaligned ways that aren't in our best and highest well-being or in the best and highest well-being of those around us, including our own family systems. So I am still working on that. And last night in my dream state, I was given a piece of information that I've been sort of holding and chewing on, processing since I received it. And it kind of blows my mind that I didn't put these pieces together before. But I mean, information comes when we need it the most. So what it was showing me is that dreams, when we're dreaming, the dream state is a state of revitalization for the human being. So it revitalizes us. It puts our day into order. It helps us to make sense of our day. It helps us to receive information that we weren't consciously able to receive during the daytime. It helps our bodies to relax and reset. And so it's a healing process for humans. It's a rejuvenator, a restart. And so what it was showing me is that TV shows, movies, internet, as far as like when you're looking at reels and things like that, is all a false illusion of dream state. So it was created off of the idea of dream state. So it's almost like we're entering dream state in the waking state, and our bodies are interpreting it like it's a dream, but in reality, it's not a dream because it's not feeding us, it's not nourishing us, and it's not good for you in the way that it's not purposely aimed at you, for your growth and your expansion and your understanding. It's a mimic of dream. It's a mimic of the sleeping state. And so it's almost like we wake up, and in our waking time, we're supposed to be fully experiencing this existence, fully experiencing yourself. And it's almost like we're taking these big chunks of time and going back into a sleep state. And that's why it was showing me that when people are scrolling, going through their reels and things like that, it's like you get lost in time. Just like in a dream state, there is no time. It's like you get lost in that time, and your body thinks you're in a dream state, but in reality, you're in a state that isn't nourishing to you. It's actually depleting to the human. So I was looking up dopamine this morning, because I was like, how does dopamine interact with the sleep state versus, like, why do we scroll like that? Why do we watch those movies? Why do we get addicted to TV and things like that? And it's that instant hit of dopamine. And in the dream state, what happens is the only time dopamine gets stimulated is during REM sleep. And during REM sleep is when you're sort of getting the messages of the day, or you're making sense of like things in your life that you haven't made sense of in your conscious state. You're putting order to life. Those are the things that you're doing in your REM state. And it does use some dopamine in that state. But then after you go through that state, you go back into that rest state. And in that rest state, it's that reset, and there's no dopamine used. But when you're watching TV and reels for hours and hours and hours, it's hitting dopamine, and it's throwing your system off. And my daughter had a really good point too, because for me, one of my languages of love is gifting, and one of my worst distractions is spending money on things as that dopamine hit. And at the same time, it's like, oh, I'm giving a gift too, because most of the things I buy are like gift type things. Recently, the things I've been buying are sort of like health products. So I bought a red light, I don't know what you call it, square for Evy's leg. I bought some protein shakes, Canadian company, really good company, good protein, for myself and my children, so that we can get, all the protein, but also fruits and veggies that we need in our diet because of inflammation as well. We all have inflammation. We have ankylosing spondylitis and other immunity disorders due to karma in the ancestral lineage that I'm also trying to clear. So I'm trying to do the right things by eating properly, but I'm also trying to clear the karma from my body, spirit, and soul, from my DNA and RNA, from my bones. So I've been kind of focusing on those areas, which seems like a good thing. But my daughter said to me, she's like, Mom, where do you see those things? And where do I see them? Social media. And I'm like, ooh, that's a good idea. Ooh, that's a good idea. And then I go and research it and look it up. And then there's my research thing. It's like I get a hit from researching, right? Because I'm extremely good at researching. And so it's a process, it's a pattern. And I was thinking about it. If I wasn't, well, I'll say addicted to social media, to internet, to TV, to all of those kinds of things, then I would not get the hit. I wouldn't even know it was there. I wouldn't even know it existed. So it's like, it's part of the sickness. It's part of materialism and capitalism. It's part of keeping us hooked. It's part of using our time on nothing, because it's not even a real experience. It's a one-sided experience when you're dealing with TVs, like boxes, electronical boxes. It's you to it. It's not really giving back outside of ones and O's and dots and colors. You know what I mean? It's not relational like it would be if you were in nature, or even working directly with something like cleaning. Cleaning is actually two-way because you're dealing directly with the earth. So it's a thief. That program or that pattern is a thief of our time and a thief of our energy, and it's mimicking dream state. But it's not dream state, because dream state feeds you, nourishes you, helps you, is specific to you. So that's why we fall into it so easily, because it's a mimic. It's like, it's an overlay. It goes right over top of the natural program or the natural pattern, which is why it's so hard to see it. And to make choices not to engage it, and to limit it, to be in control of yourself, and to limit it because it's not healthy for you, it's not good for you, it's not helping you, right? It's not assisting you. So it's asking me to clear that program, and it's asking me to clear that addiction or that toxic distraction and the overlay itself, and to realize, like, really, in some ways, you'd be better off sleeping when you're doing those things, because at least it would feed or nourish you. At least it would give you your information specifically. And I guess another sort of version of sleeping would be like meditating. So when you meditate, you're doing a very similar thing to the sleep state, and you're purposely bringing quiet so that you can access your truth, or so that you can access answers, or really the God state, the God source state. So you'd be better off doing those things, obviously, or just interacting with the earth plane. Because I oftentimes will ask myself, like, well, what do you do if you're not doing those things? Like, what do humans do? Like, how do humans keep themselves busy? And it's like, well, number one, we don't have to be busy. That's that idea of doing, of production. If you're not producing, you're not worthy, right? A better idea than producing would be communing. And producing is a P at the bottom half of the alphabet. If you want to know what I'm talking about, those lower frequency words, watch my ABCs video. Versus communing is in the C's. And the C's is actually spiritual. Like, it's spiritual spiritual spelled with a C instead of an S, right? So communing would be much better for your health and your wellness, and would give back to you. And as part of our purpose of being humans is communing with ourselves, and communing with the earth plane, the plants, the animals, nature, and creativity would be another thing that would feed your soul, because it's you, again, communing with an activity. And that would be something that would help. I was also thinking cleaning, communing, creativity, cleaning, all C's, right? Is another thing. Cooking, another C, right? These things are all feed you back. It's nourishing. It's two beings coming together and feeding off one another, exchanging with one another. So yeah, that's what's coming up in this time period. That's what I've been seeing. Seeing. That's awesome. And seeing in my dream state. I was also seeing the dream state sort of like pull you in. So, like, I'm on vacation right now. This is what I do on my vacation. And so I can sleep in if I want to. And I noted that when I get up at like 7:30, 8:30, if I say like, no, I'm going back to sleep, then it's almost like this sleep grabs me and pulls me back in. It's almost like sleep is like, come to me, you know? And so it makes sense to me that TV and the reels and internet and all of the things are kind of like, come to me, come to me. It's that same energy. And it's like, your free will needs to be like, no, I've had enough of that, Is it entertaining? Yes. Is your sleep entertaining? Yes. Are these things entertaining? Yeah, they are entertaining to a certain degree. But then after you complete that and you come out of it, because it's almost like it sucks you in like this, but when you come out of it, you're like, oh my God, what did I do? I just wasted so much time. Like I don't feel good. Like for me, if I go to sleep if I wake up at 9:30, I feel quite good. But if I wake up at 11:30, I feel headachy and I feel like it's hard for me to wake up, It's like I stop feeling good. And if I watch reels too long, I feel really gross. I feel not good. I feel depleted. I feel angry a lot of the time, frustrated, annoyed, angry, not even at myself, even though if I was really to look at it, I would feel it towards myself for wasting energy and time on something that's really nothing. What is it? It's nothing really. I spend a lot of time researching and educating myself on a lot of things as well. And I don't feel that with the education. It's different. In some ways, if you're addicted to the educating, it can be too much and it can be depleting as well. But in a lot of cases, it's an interaction with information and it tends to be repleting, or it makes me feel good, not bad. So how you know whether it's nourishing for you or not is when you complete the activity. Do you feel good or do you feel bad? Do you feel depleted? Do you feel repleted? Or do you feel rejuvenated? Rejuvenate. I got to look up what juvenate means. That's an interesting word. But filled up with life, Do you feel filled with life? Does this fuel you? Does this fill you? Interesting F words. And that's what you're going to want to look for. That's what you're going to want to be conscious of and recognize that this overlay is trying to pull us in to the point that we don't feel good. And it's not meant for you. It wasn't created for you. It was just created namsy-pamsy or created for the collective. It's not like in your dream states. It's meant specifically for you. The messages are meant directly for you. So it's not going to feed you in that way. So yeah, I hope this makes sense. And I'm just going to clear those programs and patterns from our mind, body, spirits, and souls. I'm just going to check in to see where in our bodies. So back of the head, definitely back of the head. Sensories, ears, eyes, obviously, because they're watching and listening. I can feel it's in this part of the head, this part of the masculine, all the way around, including to the back. So that's interesting because the hindbrain, the back part of the head is the hindbrain, and that would be the reptilian brain. So the part of you that eats, sleeps, has sex, breathes, that's that part of the brain that's being almost overstimulated by the false illusion of the dream. So, and by wasting time on something that's not doing anything. So I forgive myself for those things because I can feel that coming up in the gut. deep in the gut. So this is also stomach, hips. I guess this is because of sitting. It's showing me hips and the legs, the joints of the hips and the hip bones themselves, tailbone. So that whole part, again, all the way around of the hip area. Yeah, it's like it's also a stagnation of energy, like of movement. And moving our bodies, and we're meant to move our bodies. We're meant to journey, and journey means walking. So we're meant to walk. We're meant to move. A movement brings. So when you're sleeping, you stay still, and we're only meant to sleep for those 6 or 8 hours a night. Some people 10, I guess. But we're only meant to sleep for that time. We're not meant to be sleeping all day. We're not meant to be sleeping in the media state all day and not moving. So I'm going to clear those programs as well so that it gets easier to see and easier to use our free will in those spaces. And again, bringing that forgiveness in there. So feet too. So I can see feet are also involved in this. And that's the ability to move forward freely, but it's also the ability to ground ourselves to our feet, to ground ourselves into our body, to listen to our body. So when we're doing a lot of that media stuff, it's very heady is what they're showing me. It's like it pulls you into your head. Which is exactly what they want, because then you're not connecting into the body, you're not connecting into the feminine, you're not connecting into the feminine stomach brain and listening to the frequencies of intuition, you're not listening to your heart, you're not being able to access your God source connection. So it's purposely trying to pull you up into the head. Money is another one that's in there. So, and that's showing me back heart. So the ability to flow. So Monies has this thing with flowing, the river of money. I'm just trying to see what they want us to know with this, because I'm just pulling this information in now. Receiving, the ability to receive. So when you're communing, you're receiving. When you're watching TV or you're doing these multimedia things, you're just giving from this front heart. And what you're in a lack of is receiving. So you have to be in communion to receive. You have to be connecting to receive to another being, to another living entity. And things on the earth plane are living, but electronical boxes are not, unless you're connecting into the metal and the diamonds that are in there, which are of the mineral kingdoms. And you could connect into the elements and the elementals if you were connecting into that directly, but you're not connecting into that. You're connecting into what's being programmed in front of you, what's being projected, P's, low frequency. So let's clear all of that from our mind, body, spirits, and souls. Let's clear that from our back hearts, from our stomachs, from our heads, from our sensories, from the back of our skull. I feel like this has to do with stress and headaches and migraines, because where do people get most migraines? Like in that area, right? So I think because it's a false healing, like you're going towards something thinking it's going to heal you, like sleeping, like this feels like sleeping, this should make me feel good, right? No, it's a mimic. It's not real. It's false. It's not going to actually neutralize what it is that you have happening that's creating the headache. So either pressure in the skull or stress or like in our world in this time period, there's so much chaos around us. There's so much madness. There's so much collapse that chaos and collapse are also C's. That's really interesting. It's a natural part of this existence and this reality. Can we hold the natural nature of it and give ourselves peace and love even there, safety even there? And so here we go. I'm going to clear all of that. So Source God Mother, I acknowledge and accept everything that we're speaking of so far today, starting with those fires. And in the past, I did do a healing, and I'll throw that healing in here as well. For anyone who's ever been involved in fires, had fires near them, it can create a lot of fear, panic, and terror if you're giving the power to the fire. So if you go into weakness, you're naturally going to give the power to the fire, and it's going to put you into a victim state. And the victim state, I think, is where people are feeding off of this sort of entertainment aspect or attentional aspect of it, instead of taking their power back and doing what they need to do and getting creative and listening to their gut and collapsing timelines and seeing the fire collapse in on itself, and all of those magical things that we can do as humans with free will. And Source Godmother, please help us to remember that, and please help us to clear any past traumas around fires, around being in fires, near fires. You'll notice the humans start to go into a frenzy state when fires happen. Like as soon as these fires started, you could just see on the media, people started to go into a frenzy, like almost like attacking each other. And is there a fire here? Is there a fire there? Oh my God, fire, fire, fire. And instead of trying to figure it out with your head, we're supposed to be alchemizing that and dropping down into our hearts and dropping down into our truth states. It's that stomach brain, where it's going to tell us, it'll naturally tell you something's wrong, get out of here. Something's wrong, go. It's not like you have to, is it here? Is it there? Is it here? And being hyper aware, which is actually going to eat your energy, and it's going to make you act from disconnect, and it's going to take your energy and keep you in a separated state instead of accessing your truth. And I recognize that when something's right there, it will put you in that fight, flight, freeze, and fawn state, which we're being asked to alchemize. Oh, I'm in this state. It's okay that I'm here. It's normal that that happens to humans. I alchemize this. Now, what does my gut tell me to do? Because your gut sees the future and the past, and it can access more information than you can with the head that's freaking the fuck out. So when you go into that, into your center point of reference, into your center of self, into your truth, into your alignment, it's going to tell you what to do. It's going to get a lot more creative than what you're going to do from freaking out. So I clear those programs from our mind, body, spirits, and souls in this lifetime and in our multi-generational web, if it's coming through the multi-generational web, and in our past lifetimes in their webs, including any pain, suffering, and trauma, so that I can collapse this power program, so that I can take back my power and alchemize myself and act from my own truth, no matter what's happening around me. So you can still learn lessons, by being in alignment with yourself, and access your past truths and what you would have done in the past, but also you can access present and future truths, or options you wouldn't have thought of. So Source Godmother, please clear, cleanse, and heal all of that. And as you heal all of that, please also heal all of these programs, dynamics, modes of functioning, ways of existing in regards to false dream states, in regards to overlays over what's natural. So the dream itself is natural. Dreaming is natural. Sleeping is natural. But sleeping while you're awake and using up all your time in the sleep state and losing time in a false sleep state, in a mimic sleep state of internet, of reels, of media, social media, other people's lives, TV, movies, all of those things are part of a false reality. They're a false overlay that's so similar to the natural overlay that the human self gets lost in it and forgets the truth. And we want to be able to access our freedom and our free will, especially there, because it's sucking us into things like fighting with each other, like being addicted to it, like not being able to put it down, like not being able to actually exercise and move around, like false belief systems of ways that you should look, ways that you should act, kind of jobs that you should have, getting pulled into the slavery matrix false triangle of thinking that you want to be like the millionaires and billionaires who have the mansions and the cars and the purses and the fake, everything, fake faces and boob jobs and butt jobs and all the things that are very male-centric ways of existing. God, please help us to disintegrate all of these programs and patterns back to dust. Please help us to clear these from our mind, body, spirits, and souls. Please help us to neutralize, harmonize, and alchemize those programs so that we can access our truth and so that we can access our alignment and our free will, especially there, so that we can begin to use our time wisely for fully experiencing this existence within this human being and being in communion with this life, with this existence. It's like God getting into communion with itself, which is going to create magic, which is going to create nourishment, which is going to create more life. And I want that, and I choose that. Please help me with that, and please help me to clear these old programs, patterns, modes of functioning, ways of existing, including towards sleeping itself, because sleeping itself is almost like this addiction, like Lisa was talking about, where, you know, you have to have your free will there too, and you have to say to yourself, okay, that's enough of that, now it's on to the next thing. And that's the same as the TV, and that's the same as the social media, you know, like that's enough of that, now it's time for the next thing. And we have to remain aware of ourselves instead of getting lost in it. And God, I don't want any of that. That's all toxic programming. That's toxic sickness. And it's been programmed into us through the slavery matrix and through production mentality, through toxic masculine. Because remember, this whole part where it was affecting is the brain, the head, the masculine, pulling us out of our body and into our head. All the toxic masculine, right? It's all the false reality. It's an imbalance, and we don't want that, and we don't choose that. We ask to stay in alignment with our bodies, to stay in awareness of our bodies, because it's only when we're aware, consciously aware of our bodies, that we can say, you know, this doesn't feel good. I don't want this. You know, I don't choose this. And I don't choose this. I don't choose any of this. I don't want to take part in any of that, God. So I disintegrate all programs, patterns, modes of functioning, ways of existing back to dust, contracts, binds, barriers, anchors, subtle cues, anything that I've signed. And that's the thing that it told me too, that, you know, when you sign up to the internet, when you sign up to the TV, when you sign up to things, sometimes you're signing a contract and you don't know what you're signing. And we can disintegrate those back to dust because we didn't do it consciously. We don't do it consciously. It's like we've agreed to being affected by the false frequencies of electronics, and the being that's inside of it, you know, and we don't have to do that. And I'm not going to do that. And I disintegrate that all back to dust, not from fear, but from my own power, from truth, from my right to free will. And I forgive myself for overspending. I forgive myself for toxically distracting. I forgive myself for getting addicted to those hits of dopamine, which are not good for you. You know, it's not good for you. It depletes your system. It imbalances your system. It's not the way that the earthly nature exists. And we want to get into an alignment with nature, with our own natural selves, first and foremost, our balanced masculines and feminines, into our sacred mothers, who are the mother of all, and have that ability to say no. Because when it's a no, then you hold the space of the no without the tantrum. And even if there's a tantrum, you don't engage the tantrum, including the internal tantrum. No, you will find a yes on the other side of the peace. If you can find peace in the tantrum and you can find peace in the no, then you will be able to hold the space to a yes. That's where creativity comes. And yeah, I want that, God. Please help us with that. And we clear, cleanse, and heal all of that now, including from the stomach, including from the hips and the hip bones and the joints and the leg joints, the feet, from the heart and the back heart, so the spine at the back, mid-back, from the back of the head, from the eyes and the ears, the brain itself, obviously, and the nervous system, We clear all of that. We neutralize, harmonize, and alchemize it back to dust, past the DNA and RNA and into the God space of first creation. We disintegrate the old DNA and RNA back to dust, and we initiate the new. We clear, cleanse, and heal all of that now, including all drama, karma, trauma, pulling out the dharma, neutralizing, purifying, cleansing, and healing from the cellular, energetic, and magnetic structures, and from the subconscious, unconscious, and conscious minds, pulling all of that through to oneness, to wholeness, to peace, to truth, to love. We clear, cleanse, and heal these spaces so that we can access these spaces as we move forward in those good ways. And we begin to utilize them for our own growth and our own expansion, and for the growth and expansion of this all at one universe. I was trying to think of that word. There is a word here, but words, I'm telling you. It wasn't uni, it was another word, and omni. That's the word I was trying to find. Omni is what the God source told me. So omni communication. Omni communication is you communicating with the oneness of all. And that's the healthiest communication we can have. An omni relationship is you having a relationship with all, including your whole self and the whole self of all. And that what we're headed towards is an omni way of existing. So codependence, no. Independence, no. Even omni-dependence, yes. So, and I don't even know if it was a dependence. Omni, maybe just pendants. You know, I'd have to look up the word. I'll look it up to see. But that's what we're headed towards, a oneness of all. And I want that, and I choose that. Please help me with that. So I clear, cleanse, and heal through the children and up through the ancestral webs, past lifetimes in their webs, and for the collective universal who are open to it at this time, including all planetary systems and on all sides of the veil, including this universe and the multiverses. I want to throw into this too, because I've seen lately quite a few energy workers, really bright lights being distinguished. So exiting. And I do think that we are in a death portal. So I do think it's part of the death portal. It could be part of their original contracts. And it could be part of the dark energy. And what I want to say towards that is don't fear it. Again, don't give your power to the dark energy. It's a pain space of God. And when you feed the pain space, it gets bigger. So what you want to do is you want to, again, just take back your power and collapse that back to dust. And when you collapse that back to dust, it doesn't affect you, and you continue to move forward in good ways. So what the God source said to me is like, it's not the human's job to deal with the pain space. You know what I mean? Like, it's my job to see it and to alchemize it. But it's God's job, or the angel's job, or the ancestors' job to deal directly with it. And we're going to leave it up to them to deal with it. So if you see something of that kilt, you're just going to want to embrace it in God's love and release it in God's love. Like, let God deal with it. Don't look at it. Don't engage it. Let God deal with it and continue forward. Continue on your pathway forward. Because looking at it, you're looking at it backwards and walking backwards. And we're not meant to do that. That's the slavery matrix. You're meant to turn around, look forward, and walk forward and do your creations and focus on like what you're creating, and that thing will naturally fall away. So don't fear those things. Know that you are naturally protected, especially when you're asking for the protections, and don't get stuck in fear programs. When you give it its power, you engage it. You're in a relationship with it when you're giving it your power. And the key is to just disintegrate it and give it to God, and then walk forward without giving it any attention or any care. And that's ideal. So collapsing any programs, fear programs, modes of functioning, ways of existing in regards to those things, and recognizing that, you know, we don't know people's strings or when they're meant to go, or if they were meant to go at those times. It's not our job to figure it out. You can do prayers for the people that are crossing at this time period. You can just do prayers for them and send them love, but not get caught up in the fear programming. and in panic, fear, terror. That's what the God Source has been clearing from us for the past at least 3 or 4 years. It's been hyper focusing on clearing those programs so that in this time period, we aren't engaging them, we aren't feeding them, we're feeding our own self first, we're nourishing our own self, we're using the medicine for ourselves, and we're becoming the magicians. So when you rise your frequency enough and you look forward, they can't touch you. It's only when you engage them that they can touch you, which is why it's not your job to engage it. It's your job just to clear it and keep walking forward. So we're just going to clear all of that from our mind, body, spirits, and souls, including any connections, modes of functioning, ways of existing, calling in those angels, ancestors, and elementals to clear those energies fully and completely and to help us to become fully and completely freed so that we're in our free will and we're in our alignment and we're able to access our love of ourselves and safety of ourselves first and creativity in moving forward in good ways as a collective humanity. Because that's the thing that we're creating in this time period is a collective or a conscious collective, a collective consciousness, there we go, that doesn't have fear in it. So when we have a collective consciousness where there's enough people that are accessing that creativity, we begin to create all kinds of magical things because there's no longer any fear in it. And that's the new mode of functioning and the new way of existing in freedom. So yay, let's do it. So we ask for that. We ask for help and assistance of that. We clear any of that from our mind, body, spirits, and souls in this universe and in the multiverses. We quantum forgive that we got stuck in these places. We quantum forgive that, fire happens here. We quantum forgive that suffering and death happens here. We quantum forgive that it's been part of our existences, that it's part of our existences today. Like, look at the smoke, right? And all I can do is clear it from my mind, body, spirit, and soul and use my ability of free will to say, no, heck no, we're not doing that. Collapse in on yourself. We're not doing a fire. Heck no. Talk directly to the fire. The fire is an entity itself. You don't have to fear it. You can talk directly to it and you can use your power of free will. So yeah, let's do that. And let's soothe ourselves, let's listen to our guts, and let's move forward in those good ways. And let's also clear these programs in regards to the dream states, knowing that the only true dream state is the one that you enter at nighttime. And even that one, is a bit addictive. And that we have to have the free will to say, no, like, I've had enough, I'm going to get up. I feel like listening to your body. What is your body telling you? Is it ready to get up? Does it want to go about the day? And not getting pulled into the false illusions or the overlays of the dream state. Because it's imagination. I think the connection is imagination. So in the dream state, there's that imagination. And then in the media, there's that imagination. But it's not it's not a connective imagination. And it's a siphoner. It depletes you. And if you don't believe me, check into yourself. If it makes you feel good, then I'm not going to tell you what to do. But if it's depleting the heck out of you, including your money and your resources and your time and your energy and stagnating you, it ain't good. And we can clear it from our mind, body, spirits, and souls. And God, please forgive me for not seeing this sooner. I forgive myself. We see what we're meant to see as we're meant to see it. And I allow myself to see this today. And I allow myself to collapse all of that back to dust. I clear it, and clear it some more. I purify back to the God Source origins. Welcoming those collective healed helpers, those beings of light, those doctors, healers, and nurses in all realms of existence to continue to purify and alchemize these spaces and drop us into those original blueprints, those original codes, and to continue this healing until completed. Yes, we give so much gratitude and so much thankfulness to those helper beings and helper frequencies that are here with us, helping us, guiding us, loving us, nudging us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Like something gave me that information in my dream state, and I really appreciate that. I know it's the God Source because I can feel the frequency of it in my higher self in the God Source. It was a piece of information that I was receiving, and I really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that, and I am more than willing to clear that from my mind, body, spirit, and soul. And can't wait to have that cleared and to have that energy back and utilize that energy in ways that are going to feed myself and nourish my full experiencing of this universe. and that I clear, cleanse, and heal all of that now through all quantum fields, and I'm opening to receive for best and the highest well-being, the most ultimate of love and gratitude. I choose this. So I choose this and breathe. Evy's breathing. A little snore. So cute. Thank you, animal species, for getting behind us in this. We really appreciate that. So here we go. I'm going to do the energetic healing, clearing. So Source God Mother, I ask that you immediately evolute our bodies, spirits, and souls for best and highest well-being of the systems within us and the systems around us, including those frequencies of our feet. Please upgrade those frequencies of our feet to the frequencies that we need, each individual self needs in this time period, so that as we ground down to our feet, it immediately pulls us into our truth, into our 0 point, into our center of ourselves, into comfort and love and peace and presence. Please also connect us from our root chakra, which starts at the belly button, and then down through our hips and down through our legs and our feet, which this healing was healing the root chakra. It was the stomach, it was the hips, it was the feet, and that we clear those spaces and we bring in the love, light, and harmonic frequency that they need, and that you root us all the way down to that universal star, that earth star that's 2 feet below our feet, and connect us into this form realm and into this realm of existing, into nature, into our natural family. And as we connect into the natural family, please help us to exchange life force frequency, healing, knowledge, wisdom, information, codes from our earthly family, and fractalize those healings through our mind, body, spirits, and souls. We clear, cleanse, and heal all of that now through all quantum fields, and we're opening to receive for best and highest well-being. With love and gratitude, we choose this. So again, I choose this and breathe. And just checking in, if you're feeling lightheaded, please ground me to my feet. If you're feeling like you need a little extra love, please trigger my vagus nerve now. Source God Mother, please trigger my vagus nerve now. Whee! Ooh, that feels good. I naturally always feel my stomach relax. It's that Buddha belly. And that's what the God Source was telling me. The healthy belly, the immune belly, is a relaxed belly. And that's immunity, means internal safety. So I hope that that makes sense for you. And if you have any questions, please put them below. If you saw anything, memories, thoughts, ideas, visualizations, colors, while you were watching this video, please also put them below so that the community can benefit from our collective experiences. If there's someone you know that can benefit from this video, please send it directly to them. Share it around. Please also subscribe. The more you subscribe, the more this information gets out to the people who need it the most. And the quicker that we can shift as a collective society, as those of us that are willing to consciously look deeply inside of ourselves and face our shadow spaces, can alchemize it and bring more light to ourselves and more light to the planet. That's it from me to you. Lots of love. I hope you find the peace, safety, and healings that you're looking for. And I will see you next time. Lots of love from me and from Evie and from the elements around us. And lots of prayers into this fire. And if you all can do the prayers as well, not into just our fires, but into all the fires on the planet at this time. Or into all spaces that need extra love at this time. First, by alchemizing yourself. Any fear, panic, terror, sadness, hopelessness, helplessness from yourself, facing that space. That's normal for humans to feel in times of chaos, trauma, panic. Alchemize that so that you're in safety, and then just sending out prayers and visualizing them collapsing on themselves. And that's it. Lots of love. Take care.